Uh, Expansion tier list. This is for some reason controversial, but I started playing in Stormblood, middle of Stormblood. I didn't do the raids until Shadowbringers, so I'm experiencing content from A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward post everything, post Shadowbringer changes. So there is some, to a certain extent, I didn't truly experience the content the way it was supposed to be played. But let's start from the beginning. Original 1.0, it's fucking dog shit. I don't care if you're some veteran player who's like, oh no, back in the good old days. No, it was shit, dude. Come on. There's a reason why the game was canceled and had to be rebooted. It was shit. Regardless of if you tell me, oh, they made it better as time went on. No, it was obviously still bad. They had to reboot the whole game because it was so bad. But it's still the base. Yeah, exactly. Final Fantasy expansion videos. I'm shilling out right now. Anyways, 1.0 original Final Fantasy 14. Bad. Like, it was bad. Don't care what you tell me. It was bad. A Realm Reborn. People hype this expansion up so much. People say, if you tell people this expansion is bad, they will send a hate squad out for you, dude. People, for some reason, think this expansion is better than what it really is. It's not bad. Not to say that, because it's the basis of the game we play today. You know, we still have the storyline from this, like gameplay things from it. Like, it's the basis of the game. You know, like, how do I put it? I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good either. It is squarely in the, not even in the middle. I think it's really, like, it's probably the lowest expansion here. It's a C tier. Like, oh, it's a hard C tier. Now, even if I played it during then, I would be hard pressed to figure out, like, what really good things come from this. Savage came from this. It was one specific tier of Savage. And people were like, no, this shit, what do we get from this? The titles, that's it? No, don't take that shit out. But they used it, they built on it, which is good. Like I said, this is the basis of the game. We built off of this. Story, long. The C tier is kind of high for a C, right? Yeah, look, I know. But you can't, like, it's like Destiny. Was the first Destiny expansion good? Destiny 2, not Destiny 1, but regardless. I think it was okay for what it was. There was a lot of things that could have been improved. Story could have been way better, or like streamlined a lot better. They did that as time with future expansions. They streamlined a lot of stuff, which is good. But that's just to say that the story wasn't as good as people think it is. If in the future we have to streamline it, like the whole MSQ dungeon system, we had to fucking redo the whole thing. We had to cut it into parts just because it was so long and people don't want to have to sit through that whole thing. Expansion 1 for D2 is not that great. See, exactly. The first expansion isn't always going to be the best one. You know, if people say the first expansion is the best one, the game's peaked at that point, you know? It's only downhill from then. But, all right, on to the next one. Heaven's Ward. Heaven's Ward is... It's good. It's still good. It's better than Realm Reborn. I'm gonna put it in B tier for now. Let me make my points across. Ooh, excuse me. Story is good. The raids were good. The trials were really good. I didn't cover any of that in Realm Reborn. Bahamut raids, I mean, Bahamut raids, basically what I led up to. They were alright. They were archaic. The raids were more like little mini dungeons for the most part. Fight, work your way to the boss instead of just spawn in the boss arena, you know? Which some people like, some people don't, but it depends on you. Trials, you're fighting the primals with the Ultima fight. Primals are they were hard content when they were out, is what I've heard. So like I said, it's very basic. It was the basis of the game. You could only go up from there, you know. To me, if someone asked me, hey, if someone asked me, should I play a Realm Reborn or should I get a skip? I'm one of the people who I would tell you, skip a Realm Reborn if you really just want to play the game. Like if you want to raid, if you want to do crafting, if you want to do any of that other stuff, a Realm Reborn isn't the one you should get stuck on. You don't get dissuaded by a Realm Reborn, because the Realm Reborn is a filter, man. Like, it's a casual filter. Some people will just be like, why the fuck am I only pressing 2 buttons for like the first 30 levels, you know? Like, some classes only have 3 buttons, and that's, I am being generous there. So, Realm Reborn C tier, Heavensward, way better. Introducing Dark Knight and Astrologian, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Dark Knight and Astrologian. Dark Knight, probably my second favorite tank. Astrologist, whatever. Astro. I don't play healer, but it's alright. It's fun to play every now and then. Like I said, story is really good. Is it the best? No. People like to say it's the best. You know, you will see that long overused copy pasta of the award-winning free trial with the Heavensward expansion, blah, 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 blah. No. I think it's not bad, though. At the end, I'll go back and I'll get some opinions from the reigning longest player I've ever known in my life. You know, Nay, you can voice your opinion after I'm done with all this, but I think Heavensward is a solid B tier for everything we got. Now, Stormblood. No, it's not going to S tier. I wish. Stormblood has such good content. It has such good content. It has good trials. Yeah, it's a passionate rant. It's a passionate rant. I'm definitely going to have people be like... I'm going to have people be like, what the fuck are you talking about? A Realm Reborn is the best like expansion in the game. Like, no, it's not, buddy. I'm sorry. But Stormblood has some of the best content. I still go back to Eureka every now and then. Just because Eureka is just the most like relaxing, casual fun you could have in this game. Let me get ahead of my story. Story is a mixed bag. The first half is really good. Then you get to fucking, I think it was Orthard. You're in Orthard for like a minute and then you're out. I think it's Orthard. Wherever the Aura like reside from. The Zayla specifically. It's been forever, the story. So names are a little mixy to me, but story is for the most part decent. You get introduced to one of the probably best characters in this game, at least later in the game. In Stormblood, I think that certain character, if you know who I'm talking about, Xenos, is really boring because he's just me kill man. You're my enemy now. Please fight me type of deal. But he does get expanded upon later. So story is probably like a low. It's like a B- for me. But the content, oh, I keep bringing it up because it's so good. The trials are some of the best music in the game. Some of the best fights in the game. The raids, Omega Escape, all the Omega raids are probably... They're up there, dude. They are up there in like how fun some of these fights are. The music is the best music in the game, with a few exceptions here and there, but for the most part, like the pieces of music we do get are incredibly good. And then you have the best piece of content in the game, Eureka. 4, count them, 4 areas to go and grind your heart to your heart's content. That is my favorite part of any MMO. Just going out, grinding for hours, and then having something to show for it. That is the best part of any MMO to me. I love going out into like just the open world, seeing enemies, grinding, coming back, and be like, look what I got. Animos is good. Pagos, people say, is boring. I think it's very relaxing, but that's just me. I'm not gonna lie and sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it's the best. No, it can be annoying sometimes. It can definitely be annoying sometimes. Pyros is when the fun starts. That's when like most people can like sit there and say like, yeah, Pyros is it's something. Hydatos, honestly, Hydatos wasn't as high of a peak as Pyros, but the Baldean Arsenal is fun. I don't know if the Discord is still going for that. I'm pretty sure it is. But a 56 man raid? Dude, that's crazy. So, Stormblood is probably, it's not as good as Heavensward. It's not the complete package that Heavensward is, but it's the bottom of B tier, and I hate to say that, man. I really do. But anyways, Shadowbringers. Now, most people would put this up here. Just like, hands down, people would say this is the best expansion. Honestly, fuck. Hold up. I even forgot. I don't know why that just I just forgot. We're introduced to ultimate raids in Stormblood. How could I forget that? Retelling the fights of no, it's still it's still below Heavensward. I don't know why I was like, oh, that'll fix the ranking. No, it retellings of old fights, but in a way harder version of it. Remixed mechanics, brand new mechanics, ultimate weapons, and then ultimate titles becoming the clout status that they are now. More like that, nowadays ultimate weapons and titles are kind of overblown in what they are, but I still think it's a good little reward you can get for yourself, but hey. Shadowbringers. This one is going to be a little hard to rank because to an extent, I want to give Square Enix the benefit of the doubt because this was when the pandemic happened, and then we were stuck on the Shiva patch for what felt like a year. I honestly think we were stuck on the Shiva patch for 9 months, something crazy like that. We were stuck on that patch for a long time. So my opinion of Shadowbringers is a little skewed because that was when I just kind of got burnt out on the game. No one wants to farm Shiva for 100, 200 times and be like that. That was fun. Story, probably the best story. I'll be real. It's the best story. It's the best story expansion we've had in the whole game. Taking elements from every single expansion, bringing them together, not completely closing them out, but basically the third act of the whole story. The first half of the third act, I would say. The post. So I don't know how I would put this. No, I would save that for later. The story is good up to a certain point. I do like some of the introductions we had. Emmett Selch. Good character. I think he's overhyped as it is, but that's just me. I do not like Rahatia. People are going to rag on you for not liking certain characters, but it just comes like at a fact that certain characters shouldn't have been introduced as like mainstay characters, like this character from Realm Reborn, which was definitely set up because Shadowbringer's story was definitely set up all the way back then, right? I'm just a Graha hater. I'll be real with you. That's all it is. Any section that has Graha being the like an important character in that scene, I'm just like, just fucking get out of here, man. I don't like him. Trials. The weapon trials were really fun. Ruby weapon was good. Emerald weapon was good. Diamond weapon was good. Sapphire weapon, which really wasn't a trial, which is a little like MSQ battle. It was good. Fuck, what else? The most forgettable trial in the game. Memoria Mr. Whatever the fuck it was called. Where you fight... I can't even remember what his name was. Forgettable. Completely forgettable. I'm gonna get someone... There's a certain someone in this chat right now that's gonna hate me. But the best savage fight in this game came from this expansion. The best savage fight in this game, in my opinion, is Eden Titan Savage. That is the best fight in this game. It is the most fun fight I've ever had. Better than... No, I won't say better than any Ultimate. No, that's a lie. But it is probably the best Savage fight. Eden's 1 through 4 were pretty good. I think Eden as the first floor was just like little like, whoa, shouldn't that be the final boss? But hey, it was a good introduction to the tier. 5 through 8. Ooh, we did 5 through 8 for months, man. Months just because due to the pandemic. It was... Dude, oh my goodness, I'm like blanking out on here. Eden as like a final boss for E8. I mean, Shiva. That was a fun fight. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That was a fun fight. Felt a little iffy on some parts, but for the most part, it was a good fight. I took a break for 9 through 12. Yeah, 9 through 12. I took a break for that. But the fights for that looked fun. Oh yeah, it was a light 6. I was feeling a light 6 on that. 9 through 12, I saw the fights. I saw the world race. Those fights looked fun. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That 12 specifically looked really fun. Side content that Shadowbringers introduced, we got what I really did wish was Eureka 2. Bozja and Zadnor sadly are not Eureka 2. Bozja takes the idea of grinding enemies, then unlocking like critical engagement phase, which are really fun, honestly. Those could have been like dungeon bosses or like trials in and of themselves. But there's a specific feeling. It's not the same feeling as Eureka, which is what I personally wanted. So I kind of soured on Bozja a little bit. Zadnor was a little better though. Zadnor had the better, final, like dungeon or raid or whatever you want to consider it. Post MSQ was kind of fucking boring for Shadowbringers. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like the first 6.1 and like 5.1 and 5.2 MSQ were really fucking sluggish, man. I don't know why that still sits with me, but it was just really sluggish, like slow, boring. Like the expansion's release MSQ was good, but the post MSQ was really like slow. I don't think that affects its ranking, but it's definitely the best expansion the game's had. Like bar none. Overall, it's probably the best expansion we've ever had. Endwalker, I'm going to be basing this off of the up to 6.0 because we are currently about to get the 6.3 patch. If that's right. Yeah, 6.3. So I'm just basing it off the 6.0 MSQ because the 6.1 to 6.5 MSQ is not done yet. So Endwalker's like release MSQ was really good up to a certain point. From the start to Garlemald, that shit was good. That was so good, dude. Then we get to the moon. Fight. Oh my god. It is like it's such a good start to a it's such a good start to an expansion, but then you hit to the moon, and if to me it feels like we just jumped the shark, you know. I mean, keep going with this story before I like start telling how I want to rearrange it. We go to the moon, we fight Zodiark, we come back, the world's in fucking shambles. We go to Elpis. Dude, I fucking hate Elpis. I'm sorry. Dude, Destiny. Dude, I haven't even played like 3 or 4 of those expansions. Elpis was filler. I am sorry. Elpis was the biggest fucking piece of filler I've ever felt in my life. Because Elpis, we get teleported back, we go back in time. We meet young Emmett, and we meet Hythlodeos. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. If you're a fan of these characters, you're not going to hear them pronounced right from me. We meet those 2 characters. Then we try to get some information from a certain someone. They don't give the information. They say, hey, we need your help with helping this little dragon learn how to fly. That's definitely important to the story. Emmett Selch teaches them how to fly. That's really important, obviously, because if we didn't help that dragon fly, we definitely wouldn't have got to the end of this expansion. The story would have ended there, right? There's a lot of filler, a lot of backstory, sure, but it's a lot of filler up to the point where we meet Hydaelyn. So from there, and we go back. Dude, it's been such a minute, but because I don't care. I don't like Elpis. Just I don't care, dude. Then we go to space. We fight Medion. There's a lot of shit because I don't like post Garlemald. No, I'll be real. Post the moon, I just kind of forgot because I just don't care until the last part of the expansion because none of that shit interested in me. It just felt like a lot of it was just like, oh, nope. You thought that guy was the bad guy? Nope, she's the actual bad guy. She's the real bad guy. Everything we've ever been doing was because of her. It was just like, well, fuck. We fight Medion, we win, it's over. You know, from A Realm Reborn to the end of Endwalker, everything was because of Medion. Now, I personally think it should have gone Garlemald, Moon. We see Zodiark. He is contained there. But we know he's going to break out in X amount of time, literally enough time to justify us leaving, going to Elpis, seeing Hydaelyn, and understanding like, hey, you know, this motherfucker in the future is about to break out, you know, maybe like 2 hours from when I came back in time. I need you to like do something about this. So that idea sits with her until we go back in time. We see that we fight Hydaelyn first, then we fight Zodiark, then we find out, hey, Zodiark isn't the main problem right now. It's actually Medion. It just makes more sense. It just doesn't make sense how we beat Zodiark then Hydaelyn, because we've always been told Zodiark was stronger, but we just somehow did it. Oh no, it's because it wasn't the actual Zodiark. He was controlled by blah 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 blah. Like that doesn't matter. It's his body, it's his power. That doesn't power scaling and weak to me a little weaker doesn't mean we just beat him like that. Oh man. So the story is okay. Post, oh man, I said I wasn't gonna get into it, but the Post and Walker MSQ has been really fucking boring, man. I get it. It's supposed to set up something brand new, but I feel like it's gonna be, I guess, 6.1 to 6.5, and that's it. You know, like once 6.5 hits, we're done with this like little like side quest we're doing, and it's just not interesting to me. It's just really fucking boring. I'm not interested in it at all. Maybe that's just me. Some people are like, oh my god. I'm burping a lot. Oh my god, excuse me. Some people are like, oh my god, Zero. Oh my god. I'm not interested in any of these characters, man. These characters don't do it for me. If it's for you, I would. Endwalker is definitely better. Just in the no. Fuck. Oh man. Now that I think about it, that's probably what it's gonna look like. Endwalker is like a solid B tier. If the story had gone the way I just presented, if it went from the beginning part up to Garlemald, we get transferred to the moon, we find out, then we fight Hydaelyn because we find out Zodiark doesn't. She needs to prove that we're strong enough to fight him. Then we fight Zodiark. Then we find out about Medion at some point during Elpis. The only thing where I'm really switching is Hydaelyn and Zodiark's position in which we fight them in, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I missed something. Maybe it said, oh, actually Zodiark was weaker the whole time. We just didn't know. I don't fucking know. I must have missed something. I must have speed ran that shit. But hey. So this is tentatively my personal expansion ranking. Shadowbringers, probably the best story, the best fight in the game for sure. Eden Titan is probably the best fight in the game. Heavensward was all around an A tier expansion. It had everything. Everything about it was good. And Walker, like I said, I'm not basing this on. And Walker's ranking isn't based on its MSQ, like its complete MSQ, because we're not done with it, but it's based on the post, and it's just based on the release MSQ. 6.1 to 6.5, not taking the place. I said it was boring, but it doesn't affect it. I just really don't like the post story MSQ. 6.3 is coming out, so no, even then, I'm like I said, I'm trying to rank it higher, but it's not nothing I can say is gonna make this any higher. The Xenos parts of the MSQ were probably the best parts. No shit, no joke. That was probably the best parts. From the start to Garlemald to the end with Xenos, all that was fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. The top of B tier. Stormblood, bottom of B tier. That I'm pretty sure most people would agree with that. A Realm Reborn C tier. It's the worst one, man. It's the worst one. I get it. It's the start, but it doesn't mean that doesn't exempt it from being the worst. And the original 1.0, it's at the bottom, but who cares? We can't play it anymore, So that is my definitive tier list. I'm sure some of you have ideas. Some people might say Heavensward is the best. Some people might say these three, story heavy, expansions. These are really story heavy. Not to say Heavensward and Stormblood are, but their stories feel like they're more self-contained to an extent. These are world affecting stories. So it feels like the story's grander. And some people might say, oh, well, that just means they're better. No. There's definitely a case to be made for that, but not here. This one is for sure set in place. A Realm Reborn for me is set in place. Stormblood is... Look, if personal bias was put into this, I would definitely put Stormblood up here. I could go back to Eureka and play that shit all day, man. That's just that fun. And Walker, I'm sure a lot of people would be it's a solid mid-tier expansion. Maybe the new Deep Dungeon might change it, but I really doubt it. The raids are fun, but not really fun. Heavensward, like I said, solid overall. Solid overall. Shadowbringers, it's the best, but I wouldn't say it's the best, if that makes sense. It's the best out of all the expansions, but I wouldn't say it's amazingly, like, a far ahead of heavensward. It's only the best by the fact that that the raids are good and the story is better than heavensward. It's like, that's all I gotta say. I don't know the best way to put it, but that's like for sure my tier list. That shit's over.